There we go. Hi guys. I wanted to show you my new kitten room now that it's all set up, and I'm all hot and sweaty because I was just doing the litter boxes and stuff, and it's just hot. I have a heat intolerance. Yay! So, alright, I'm just going to set you down. I got a new mop too that I'm trying out, so we're going to see how that goes, and then I'll show you all the kittens. So this is my new mop. It's the Cedar flat mop. So all of the dirty water goes into the actual gray tank, and then all of the clean water is in the blue tank, and you can see how it just squirts on there and wets the pad. And then I mop. I love flat mops. Don't know why. I guess from my janitor days when I was an actual custodian, we used flat mops. But they had a whole awesome flat mop system. So see these little lines in my floor? Hi Daryl. Hi Angela. Hi Kim. So I have silicone in them, and I have markers downstairs I'll bring up later to where I can color these in and they won't be so noticeable. What are you doing, kitten? Yay. I probably should have sprayed these poop spots. So I had a kitten who was severely constipated, and I had to give him 2 enemas before he finally pooped a bunch of it out. And that would be that little guy. Yeah, Bobber. Looks like pizza roll. Scrub, scrub, scrub. Scrub, scrub, scrub. Yeah. But then I go and get this re-soaked. It's kind of hard to do with one hand. Just saying. Just saying. Thank you, Kelly, for the tunnels. The kittens love them. All right. Moppa, moppa, moppa. Cleaner, cleaner, cleaner. I found this mop when I was cruising around Walmart. I might. I did not turn him into a water balloon. I turned him into a poop exiting machine. You didn't have to see the second time where I had to use twice as much water. You probably would have freaked out, but it worked. Hi, Lori. Hi, Sherry. Water balloon. Huh. Yeah. Moppa, moppa, moppa. Alright, I'm setting you guys down. Say hi to Ixana. She's a very grumpy girl. Ixana came to us from a rural shelter that was going to put her down, and she was very pregnant. So she came here. She actually gave birth here at my house, and then when her kid was about 3 or 4 weeks old, she moved to a different foster. But Ixana likes to bite people. And when we inquired with the rescue that we pulled her from, she was an outdoor cat. So I think the best thing for her is to be a barn cat. And she's essentially just kind of gonna join my crew outside. She's doing a slow acclimation, so she hangs out in this room. When the kittens aren't out, she gets to come out, sit in the windows. She's not 100% feral, but she bites like hard, and it hurts. And we can't adopt out a cat like that except to barn homes, and that's more my thing. So she's hanging out with me. And she's gonna join my crew. I might have a actual barn home for her. I'm waiting to hear back from the people. But if not, I just don't have the capacity. We don't have anywhere to keep barn cats. That's why it's hard for us to adopt them out. They can't be at our adoption center because they're a bite risk if people go in and try to do cat chores and get bitten. We're not a shelter, so we don't have an actual like physical shelter location with pens and safety protocol and whatnot. So we can't keep her, and those pens at the shelter are even smaller than these pens. It's probably the size of that smaller kennel that's attached to that. But taller. So it's just better for her this way. We'll get her all situated somewhere. Are you having fun? Yeah. I think you are. It sure seems like it. Alright. Mopping achieved. I'd say the only thing about this mop is it could have a bit of a harder clean squeeze dry. Oh, here's your mama. And then we have, okay, so I'm not the smartest person, and I didn't realize that, I forget, I've always worked jobs where you still worked holidays, and I forget which holidays are holidays that are considered national and people don't work them. So this guy was brought to me to get fixed today, but they're closed, and I didn't know, and nobody said anything. Hi, baby. Hi, handsome. I think it's a boy. Haven't really been able to check because I don't want to get bitten. He is feral. So he's going to hang out with me till next Friday up here. You know, it'll be fine. Maybe he'll even turn nice. But just in case, he's just hanging out with us. Where's my water? There it is. So, I'm looking for somewhere to sit so we can sit and have a chat. I'm gonna take this, guys. Don't smack me. No. I need to wash Bobber's butt, but if I do it too much, it gets super raw. So I'm trying not to overdo it. Alright, guys. We're going to the floor. So, I have on my wish list this dog bed I want to get, and it's got a waterproof liner. So if the kittens pee or poop on it, I can just wash the cover and it never makes it to the dog bed part. And I'm waiting to see if it goes on sale for Prime. because I'm going to get that, and that's going to be my new seat when I'm in here. When I'm sitting and chilling with the kittens and whatnot. So, how is everyone? Who's all here now that I'm paying attention? Yeah, I forget about what's closed, and nobody said anything. Nobody remembered my poor ADHD brain and the fact that I grew up working Christmas and Thanksgiving, so. But I did find out after confirming that they were closed, one of the vets is out for the rest of the month, and I think another vet is also out for the rest of the month, so they're very short-staffed. So I think I'll end up taking this kitten next Friday, and I'm honestly just going to take this month off from TNR, because they don't have a whole lot of vets open, availability there, and I don't want to overload them. And then next month, I have 25 surgery slots at the Spay and Neuter project. So I'll have 10 that I take on the 15th and 15 that I take on the 23rd. So next month I will have my work cut out for me. And so I'm just going to take this month. We've had a lot of kitten death, a lot of sadness, a lot of stress. I kind of went super fast and worked overtime to get this room ready so that I could have it up and going. I think I'm also going to just start working more on medical fosters. So what I've been doing is I'll run out and I'll get look at them. But when I'm out trapping, I just grab kittens if I think they're at a tameable age, and I bring them in and I try to tame them, and I do all the work. And that's just not sustainable. I've learned that a lot of times the people care enough that if you tell them, hey, we don't have the ability to take these in right now, and if you're not able to bring them in and start socializing them for the next couple weeks, then we're just going to have to TNR them. Most of the time the people will bring them in, and then I have to learn to not feel guilty if they don't, and to just go back out and TNR them when they're big enough. Because I've been overloading myself, and when you overload yourself and you get too many cats in an area, the cross-contamination of worms, the cross-contamination of illness, it doesn't matter how careful you are, you're going to mess up. That's all there is to it. Unless you're like wearing full suit and gloves between every pin, you're going to mess up. And even then, you're going to mess up. And even then, stuff spreads. Like, it's kind of annoying, but it does, and it's going to get where you don't want it. So, in the end, my goal is to only have one litter at a time upstairs and downstairs. And then the other 2 pins that I'll have, one up and one down, will be emergencies only. So like right now, I have Ixana in a pin. But like I said, at night the kittens will go in there, she'll come out, and she'll get to sit in my windows and start her acclimation period, which is a minimum of 3 weeks, a maximum of 3 months. She's been here for over a month once before when she had her kittens. So she's already kind of used to this space, so her acclimation might just be the 3 weeks or so. It just kind of depends on how it goes. She's never been upstairs in this room. She was downstairs, and in the garage, and I'd open the garage at night to air it out and let the cats have fresh air and whatnot when it wasn't super hot or cold. So, and then like the emergency I had with the one up there, he was not an expected stayover. But once you catch a feral kitten, especially when they're older, there's no guarantee that they're going to go back into a trap, so I can't just let them go and try again. Never, ever, ever trap a cat and then go, oh, I wasn't ready, and then let it go, because 99% of the time, you're not going to retrap them. Yeah, this is the floor I just did. I'm upstairs. So we also did this molding. Oh, I didn't sweep right there really well. But we also did this molding so that there's no gap here. I say we, it was me and a lady that is a friend of mine, and she helps with a lot of my DIY projects when Kim's unavailable. Kim was out of town when we were doing all this, and then I finished it up on my own at like 1 o'clock in the morning, because that's when I do my best work. But it's just peel and stick, so it's rental friendly. So I rent, and the carpet up here was gross. They told us that we had all new carpet put in when we moved in, but when I pulled this carpet up, that says otherwise. Otherwise, when my mother-in-law was in here, her cat peed on the floor and we didn't know it. But there was pee here on the carpet, and there was a dresser here. So unless she was like peeing beside the dresser and it going under, I don't know how that would work. So we pulled up the carpet. These are peel and stick, which is why I've gone around with silicone for the gaps, just to kind of make sure it's waterproof and nothing kind of leaks down into the cracks. There's still a couple tinier cracks I need to work on, but the big ones are taken care of, so that's all I was worried about. But yeah, it's just a peel and stick vinyl plank flooring. We started up in the left corner, went down. The hardest part was just the ones that you had to cut to fit around the vents, and that wasn't even hard. That was just what took the most time. And once we got past the 2 vents, Kathy pretty much did most of it herself. She kind of started doing it, and I was just picking up the garbage and stuff. I stopped to take a shower because I was sweating so bad because of my heat intolerance. And then we got it all done in a day. I think the more time-consuming stuff was the silicone. The molding didn't take very long. I used my Dremel to cut the corners, and then we used silicone to just kind of fill them in. Thank you. Thanks so much. That's okay, Angela. It's all sunny and bright here. It's gross. Because sun and bright also means heat, and I don't like heat. My next project is to put up this privacy film on the windows, and then I plan to cut like little windows that the kittens can look out. But we all know that I don't like pants. And when you don't like pants, walking in front of windows means that, especially at nighttime when you have the lights on, people see you. And I don't give a, what my husband does. So he's always like, Christina, close the window. Christina, put pants on. And I'm like, you're no fun. I don't care. He's like, the Mexicans across the street are getting a show. I don't care. I hate pants. So I'm putting up the privacy film on the bottom half, and then I'll just cut like a line where the cats can look out at the tiers of where the trees are. So I'll cut a line out where this one is and where this one is, and then where our window seat is. So kittens, we have the little black one on the floor is, I think, hook, line, and sinker. The one up in the window doing I don't know what is rod and reel. The buff one laying by this big scratching post is tackle box. He was not doing really well for several days. I was giving him daily fluids. Happy 4th. I was giving him daily medicine. I was giving him probiotics. I was giving him different kind of dewormers. Finally, he decided, okay, I guess I'll stick around. And then we have our pizza roll dupe, Bobber. Bobber's the one that was super constipated, so when he turns around, his butt's brown. I can't get it to come clean. It was so stained. He was so constipated that you could feel the poop inside of him, just like all up inside of him. And so he would strain and strain, and all that would come out is liquid poop. And the solid turds were just so big and hard that they wouldn't come out. So the liquid poop that would come out was like forming around his anus. And so I was soaking him like 3 to 4 times a day. And then finally I was like, he's gonna need a little help pooping. And I've done enemas on puppies, never kittens, so I had to go do a crash course real quick. And then we gave him an enema around 1 o'clock yesterday. And Kim was like, don't stick it in too far, go real slow, don't use a whole bunch of water. And I'm just like, Kim, if we don't use water, we're not gonna rehydrate the poop for it to squelch its way out. So we did a little enema and then gave him some Laxatone, which kind of helps lubricate things. And then I wish he'd come here so I could wipe his butt. Come here. Hi. Come here. But anyways, and then later I was talking to our vet representative and I was like, he still hasn't pooped. He's constantly straining. He's obviously very uncomfortable. He can't eat because he's so full of poop, he was just throwing up. He was not a water balloon. You should have seen him after a second enema. After a second enema, I did a whole tube of that water, Kim. Very slow, very gentle, and I had to put the tip in a little further. But within like, I don't know, 3 minutes after doing that, the poop came out. So much poop. So much poop. And let me tell you, kittens are 80% poop. So, poop tells a story. Whether it's soft, normal, liquid, mushy, hard, it tells you what's going on with their system. So, poop is 80% of kitten care. You always want to look at their poop. And that's why I have cameras on my pens. I can turn that or even move it over to be above the litter box when we're having issues. And then if I find vomit or I find liquid diarrhea, I can go back in my camera footage and just see what happened. Who pooped? Who vomited? Who's not doing well? Especially when you have multiple kittens in an area. Cameras are just very helpful for that. So I like to use cameras. That way I know who's having what issues. I could see Bobber straining and struggling to go potty, so I knew it was him that needed help. Stuff like that. I love, love, love having cameras on everything. It's an experience. Very much an experience. Yeah, I keep shorts by my, on a little night, like a table next to my couch, just in case someone knocks on my door. But most of the time I'm just running around in undies and a t-shirt. And then here comes Kim, Miss Never Knocks, and just walks in while I'm prancing around in my pants. At this point, she's just used to it because I never have on. Thank you, Magic. But yeah, at this point, Kim just is used to me running around with nothing on. So at least I wear a shirt and underwear. I mean, it could be worse. This one is just having a good old time. I'm trying to, there we go. Oh yeah, and this one's name is Minnow. So this is my fishing litter, as I call it. This little guy right here, the black one, that one, is the most playful. Both the black ones are probably the most playful. The gray one's the runner-up, and then Bobber, the flame point, Tackle Box is slowly getting back into playing after his week of trying to exit on us. I really thought we were going to lose him. Like, his gums were so pale and it was so bad. Yeah, I'm excited to see what Kim's upstairs is going to look like. Between naked Christina and water balloons. I mean, Kim, just wait until you see a real prolapsed anus. Yeah. You haven't seen trauma yet, honey. Kittens are traumatic. The things that they go through and survive, kittens are traumatic. And that's why a lot of people will foster 1, 2, 3 litters, and then something traumatic does happen, and they're like, oh no, I'm not cut out for this. And then we don't have enough kitten fosters. Like, that's what happens. And that's okay. It's not for everyone. But we're still at the part in life where we have... Sorry, I got distracted by this kitten playing. I'm trying to figure out... There's a spring inside of the string. And she's managed to unravel it. And I've never had them do that before. Yeah, I've had partially prolapsed anuses too. I've sent you pictures of Crispin. Thanks, Barbara. I like it too. I can sweep and mop in 2 seconds instead of have to scrub poo-poos off the floor. Carpets. Kittens and carpet just don't work. I mean, not at the capacity of which I foster. And the fact that I do medical fosters more often than not. And that's probably all I'm going to do from now on is medical fosters. We don't have enough fosters. We don't have... I think out of all the fosters we have, only 3 of us will work with feral kittens, me being one of them. Only 3 or 4 know how to do sub-Q fluids. Everyone can pretty much get the gist of oral medicine, but most of them don't do it. Like, we send them home with Panazaril, which is supposed to be given once a day for 3 days, and I'm pretty sure that 90% of our fosters don't give it. So then a few weeks later, their kittens have poop problems, and we're like, well, did you give the dewormer? And they're like, well, we tried, but they didn't like it, and we forgot, and we're like, well, you're going to have to give the dewormer again and actually give it for the whole 3 days. And it's super important that you do these things because the parasites can kill kittens. They're so small. Their digestive systems are developing, especially when you're looking at things like Coccidia and Giardia, which is a protozoa. It's not a worm. It's a single-cell organism, but they can wreak havoc on the digestive system. And if you don't, we're pretty sure that's was wrong with this litter and mostly Tackle Box here, because once I gave Panicure for 5 days, once you do that for 5 days, he started to really perk up. So I really think with this litter it was Giardia, and we don't run into that as often as we do Coccidia. So we treat every single litter of kittens for Coccidia that comes in because we have a coccidiosis problem in Colombia. Giardia is kind of hit and miss, but when the Panazaril did nothing, our next step is Panicure. So we have so many dewormers. We have Pyrantel, aka Strongid, and that's for basic roundworms. And then we have Panazaril. Panazaril is for Coccidia. Praziquantel, they have to be over 2 pounds or about 7 weeks old, somewhere in there. And Praziquantel is specifically for tapeworms. Panicure does roundworms, one type of tapeworm, and Giardia. Some rescues just do the 3 days Panicure instead of the Pyrantel because it does the roundworms plus it does the one kind of tapeworm and the Giardia. But again, we can't get our fosters to give these guys dewormers as it is, so then to make it a 3-day thing for everyone is, it just doesn't work as well. And Panicker is quite a bit more expensive, so we try to do that on a more as-needed basis. So yeah, everything in between kittens gets sanitized. I use Rescue. I sanitize literally everything. So you can see here my S-hook. I've got a dustpan up there. Ixana just got here today, so I haven't gotten dustpans and stuff out for her. But every set has their own dustpan. The dustpan for the kittens that are in the room is in the closet. But they each have their own litter scoop. They each have their own broom. I use stainless steel litter boxes because they can get superficial scratches, like surface scratches, but they don't get gouges that collect coccidia and giardia and smells and all that. I can take them out. I had a pressure washer recently donated to me, which is amazing. And so I just take them outside, pressure wash them clean, spray them with Rescue. I let the Rescue dry, so it just sits on there and dries. And then I'll do this in the evening so that it doesn't just dry in like a minute in the sun. And then I will let them rinse them off. And then everything in here gets mopped and wiped down with Rescue. That's why these are the only cat trees I use. I can wipe them down and the little beds get removed and washed in between kittens playing in here. These are a little risky, but they're not super expensive. So if I get a super sick litter, it's not going to break my wallet to throw it away and get another one. They're like 35 bucks. So far I haven't had to do that with this one. I'll usually just get my little shampooer out and shampoo the carpet at the bottom, and then I'll spray the sizzle down with some Rescue. They don't tend to get a bunch of poop on the scratchy parts. It's more the floor where they lay. So that's where I'll Rescue and scrub it and then suck it up with a shampoo machine. The pens are a bit harder to clean, but now that I have them set up, I have metal trays in mine because they're easier to wipe down and more sanitary. The plastic trays that come in crates have a bunch of little dips and gouges, and they're easy to get scratched, and they're just really annoying to clean. We're missing hair. I try very hard to keep things clean. Every day we do a basic cleaning. I'm not deep cleaning every single day. But I will sweep, mop, clean the litter box, clean their water and food bowls, give them fresh food and water. They get wet food twice a day, though these guys I'm trying to wean down. Please don't do it. Oh, don't do it. Go down. Don't jump. You have the scratchy pole right there. Go down the scratchy pole. Uh-huh. Don't be a kitten dog. Don't do it. Turn around. He doesn't know what to do. Come here. They don't care about me at all. Oh, I saw SGE and was thinking Sarge. I was like, Sarge cut his hair off? What? I was so confused. But then for my litter box over here, I have this like casing, and that just keeps my walls poop free, because when I put litter boxes up against the wall, sometimes when, you've seen cats that go and they'll dig to cover their poop up, and then they scratch on the wall, and then they scratch on I don't know, thin air, and they scratch on the floor and they scratch their own butts. It doesn't make any sense, but they do end up getting poop on the wall. So I saw those on Amazon and I got that. And then in between litters, what I do is that goes in my bathtub. I'll just stick a plug in it, it folds up, and then I put hot water, a little bit of rescue, and it soaks in there for a few minutes, and then I rinse it with really hot water. Okay, I have to remember that it's in there. I can come for dinner tonight because William works until 10 anyway. So that works. Would you come let me wipe your butt? Come here. Come on. He's still got a little bit of leaky butt. And he does not want me to clean it. It's so raw. The poor guy doesn't like me touching it. But I still have to wipe it and clean it like 3 to 4 times a day, because if it just sits on there, it gets raw. And then I have, that's not it. I think it's up, so up there I have like a little, it's got food and dewormer and probiotics and my napkins and stuff in it. But it's also got the Animax, which is an ointment I got to put on his butt like 4 times a day to try and keep it from being so sore. So this litter originally was not medical. They're just ones that I pulled and brought in so they wouldn't end up being feral. And then Tackle Box decided to go medical on me. And then Bobber decided to get constipated. So I'm pretty sure if we were to look at all the kittens that come into Second Chance, though, it is not uncommon to lose 1 kitten per litter. It is not uncommon for, I've never had a litter of kittens that didn't have some kind of poop problems, from constipation to diarrhea. That's just part of kittens as they're going through developing their GI systems, as they're going through food changes, because whoever was feeding them outdoors was probably feeding them, you know, Special Kitty or Meow Mix or something, and then we throw them, everything at the rescue is put on Purina 1, Healthy Kitten, and it's a healthier, richer diet for them. And even the stress of moving can cause them to get diarrhea. The stress of coming indoors or the stress of moving from one house to another, it causes upset tummies and stress and poops. So kittens always are a medical case to a certain degree. But I am going to be focusing more on the medical cases that require more medicine, more monitoring, ones that need their temps checked regularly, ones that need fluids. And by fluids, I mean I'm literally poking them with a needle under the skin and inserting the fluids. It's not fluids by a syringe in their mouth. I'm giving them subcutaneous fluids. You can be trained how to do that by a veterinary professional. And a lot of times rescues will train medical fosters how to do that. I said needle, Kim, not enema. I'm talking about regular fluids, not butt fluids. But yes, they get a little water balloon on their back when you give them subcutaneous fluids. It's just a little pocket of water, and then their body absorbs it, and you give it to them. You give them a certain amount depending on their weight. The vets usually will advise you how much to give. We do a standard of 10 milliliters per pound. So if they're like 0.7 pounds, they get 7 milliliters of fluids. Other vets have different numbers that they do. That's just easier for the medical fosters to remember. If we have one like Tackle Box, who was really struggling, he would get 10 milliliters in the morning and another 5 or so at night because he just was not doing well. But then I'm also able to give sub-Q B12, which is a vitamin that helps them retain fluid, like actually use the fluids that's given to them. And then I can also give penicillin, which is a sub-Q injection. I'm also able to do vaccines as long as it's not rabies. Rabies legally has to be done by a vet, but you can do your own FERCPs. You can do your own DHPPs for your dogs. You can buy them at Tractor Supplies. The biggest issue is you don't always know how they store them. So I'll buy vaccines from places like Revival Animal Supplies or Revival Animal Health, and then they ship them to you in a cooler. And you know they came directly from them to you, and they have to stay in a fridge. That's the important part with vaccines. And that's what we did with Kim's. We did all of her cat's vaccines ourselves. And then I used the extras for some TNRs that were younger. Tackle Box is playing. He feels so much better. Tackle Box. Hi. And then we got Bobber Eaton. These kittens could care less that I exist, and that's kind of my fault because I spent so much time trying to keep Bobber, Tackle Box alive, and then Bobber trying to get him to poop, that I haven't really interacted with the others as much. They're not feral. I can literally pick them up and do whatever. They just don't care that I am present. So they're not in my face. They're not climbing on me like the only time they'll do that is when I bring in the wet food. A lot of people think here they have to go and get the vaccines at the vet, but you can do them yourself. It's just getting the vet to believe you that you gave them, so you have to keep the sticker, and it's got the serial number and the expiration date on it. And then some vets are just really hoity-toity, and they're like, well, we didn't do it, so we're not marking down that you did it. And I'm like, well, I don't care what you think. I like my vet because he knows that I know what I'm doing. So, yeah, from this point on, I'm just going to focus on emergency and medical fosters. That way, if I am TNRing, if they're healthy and the kittens are well taken care of, they're going to stay outside, unfortunately. There's just so many, and I can't help them all. I can't do it all. I'm one person. A bunch of our fosters moved away this summer, like our long-term fosters. We have 2 bottle baby fosters, with Kim being one of them. We have maybe 3 people who can handle feral fosters, me being one of them. And then maybe 3 medical fosters that are willing to do medical cases. So we're really lacking in the specialty department, and so that's the stuff that I'm going to focus on because I have the ability to do it. And if there are ferals outside that are just struggling, then I can bring them in. But if they're not struggling, they can just stay outside and chill until we can get them fixed. Like, that's all I can do. And it's sad. Hopefully someday we get to a point where we fixed enough cats that that's not the case, and we can bring more inside and rescue more. Yeah, show off that dirty butt you won't let me clean. Come here. You gross kitten. Come here. These 2 are playing. Ixie, they're just playing. It is spring. Look at it. Oh. Ixie's very unimpressed. Yearly vaccinations. I don't agree with yearly vaccinations. I think that all cats should have all of their kitten vaccines. Puppies should have all of their puppy vaccines. And then do the 1-year booster. And then after that, I do every 5. Legally, we have to do rabies. And since I'm in the city, I have to license my animals with the city, and to do that, you have to have updated rabies. So we do rabies every 3 years. But for my personal pets, my dogs, we did all their puppy vaccines. And there's a reason why they get multiples. So we start vaccines at 5 to 6 weeks old, and they get one every 2 to 3 weeks until they're 16 weeks old. And the reason for that is because every single animal has antibodies that they get from their mom's milk in the colostrum the first 24 hours that they nurse. And at some point, the antibodies they get from mom stop working, and then the antibodies from the vaccine start working. But for every kitten, it's different. So we don't know what week, which kitten, the vaccine is what's working or mom's antibodies is what's working. And to risk waiting until they're 16 weeks to give them a vaccine is very, very risky. So we start at 6 weeks old, and then we vaccinate them every 2 to 3 weeks. Every vet's a little different with that. But every 2 to 3 weeks, we will vaccinate them until they're 16 weeks old, and it's the same for puppies. And that way we know that by 16 weeks old, they have the antibodies they need to make it through the next year without serious illness. And then at 1 year old, they're still developing an immune system. They're still growing to their full size. So I will do their 1 year vaccinations, and then they'll also get their 3-year rabies at that point. And then I won't do anything until the next 3 years later. I'll do another 3-year rabies, and then at the next 3-year rabies, I'll do another booster. So I do think that we tend to over-vaccinate animals. If you want to get really nitpicky, they actually do titer testing, where you can do blood work and check the antibodies that's in them, and then decide if you want to revaccinate. And that's how they're proving that we are over-vaccinating, because a lot of times these titer tests come back, and these animals still have antibodies, the perfect amount of antibodies. They don't need revaccinated. But every cat is also different. So it's really up to your personal preference. I just prefer to only do it after there's a 1 year booster every 3 to 5 years, or every 3 to 6 years. We do rabies just because we legally have to, but that's it. Oh yeah, that's, I get emails probably every week at this point, because I have taken in so many strays to my vet before I could get them to a rescue. I get emails, stray cat 57 is ready for vaccines, is ready for this. Stray cat 17 is ready for this. Stray cat 52. I'm just like, guys, take these cats off my damn account. Unsubscribe. I get so many emails. Come here. I have this little bed here with a heating pad under it. So if they want to lay somewhere warm, they can, especially when his little butt was hurting. And I had to keep washing him, and I still have to wash him. I want him to have somewhere warm to lay when he is drying off. So I had Kim set that up when she was over here last time. Come here. Look at your pretty blue eyes. Hey, look at your pretty blue eyes. He knows I want to wash his butt, and that's why he's not coming over here. Look at that dirty butt. It's not even that dirty. It's really raw, and the hairs are stained from how much poop was constantly stuck on them. But I do need to wash it and put the medicine on it, and I'll probably do that when I end this video. But yeah, no, I don't vaccinate my animals with the FERCP every year. That just is like overkill to me, and it's not required. The only thing that is here is rabies, so. Big yawns. Everyone's getting sleepy. We're getting them up in the window seat. The window seat is crooked. No, it's not. I'm looking at the power line outside. But yeah, this is my new kitten room. Ixana over there just being a very unhappy, hateful cat. Which is okay. She can be sweet. So when she first came to me before she gave birth, she was like this for a couple of days. Grumpy, growly, attitudey. And then she got a bit lovey. But in between her little love fest, she would just randomly bite me. And I would look back at my video footage, and the first time she did it, I accidentally elbowed her in the face when I was cleaning her litter box. So I thought, oh, she's just got a vendetta against me, and she thinks I'm trying to punch her in the face with my elbow. So she went to another foster home, her and her kittens, to finish growing. And then we realized that she was just kind of a butthole to everyone. Kim, the whole reason I did this video was so that I would clean the room first. I was like, I want to go live and show off the kittens, but I'm not going to do it until I clean the room. So I was in here, I scooped the litter box, I swept. I wanted to show off my new mop, so I did that. There was poop in this tunnel, so I had to clean the poop out of it, which is why I say that's like the #1 toy that I like to get in the mail, because knowing that they've had their poopy little feet on these, I'll rinse them out for as long as these kittens are here. So I'll wipe them out, I'll stick them in my shower, rinse out the poop, wipe them down, whatever. But once these kittens are out of this room, the tunnels go with them or get thrown away. Because the poop just, it's able to get stuck in all these threads and crevices, and if they still have any traces of Giardia or Coccidia, we don't want it going to the next kittens. So these are literally my favorite toy to get in the mail because I can't fully wash them. If I have a litter of kittens that didn't poop in them, then I might be able to soak them in the tub with some rescue. But the flooring is peel and stick vinyl plank. So quite literally, they're just 6-inch by 36-inch planks of flooring, and you peel the backing off and then they stick down to the floor. So in order to prep the floor, we pulled all the carpet, the tack strip. We sat here for a day and just pulled staples out of the floor from the padding. And then they make an adhesive primer that helps peel and stick bond to the floor. I applied that one evening at like 1 o'clock in the morning, so I guess one morning. And then Kathy came over and then we started sticking it to the floor. There was one spot in the floor, like right along here, where we had to pull a couple pieces up and sand it down because it just wouldn't lay right. And it was right along the edge. So she brought her big old sander, hand sander over. We sanded that down for like 10 minutes and then laid new peel and stick tiles there. That's the cool part about peel and stick though, is A, it's renter friendly. It just pops right up. So whenever I move, if they don't like it, I can just peel it up and they can just lay carpet back down. And I've already been here. This is my 3rd year here. By the time I move, the flooring is already going to be, well, wear and tear. You were going to have to lay new flooring anyways. So it really shouldn't go towards my deposit, as long as I'm willing to pull all this up for them to lay new carpet. But even if, for a room like this, it's like $300 to relay carpet, and that's about all this vinyl plank flooring cost. So I like the vinyl. I think the vinyl, the only thing that I wish is that I had tried to do the they have the vinyl planks that snap together, and you use like a rubber mallet, and it basically makes them waterproof. I would have liked to have done those instead, but since I knew I wasn't going to get this floor flat enough for it, it was kind of pointless. So with this, I have these little bitty gaps here and there. I don't know how well you can see that gap. And so I just go in with silicone on my finger, fill the gap in, then I come back with a wet rag after it's dried and I rub off the excess. And that way, if someone has an accident or my mop is a little too wet, we're not getting that going down to the subfloor. And that way when all this gets pulled up, it's not like a bunch of water damage on the subfloors underneath, that kind of thing. Most general mopping and whatnot's gonna cause a problem with tiny little creases like that. It was over here where the bigger ones were that could. So, oh Ixie, what are you doing? She big man. Oh Mama Ixie, what are you doing? I know. She said, I'm looking for the way out, ma'am. So my plan was technically, she's probably going to have to stay in that pen for at least till next week, because my plan was for the up one to still be for these kittens, so at night when they're not really playing and they're sleeping, they're in the pen and Ixie could sit in the windows. But now that I have my little TNR buddy that it can get to be TNR'd up there, Ixie will just kind of have to wait in her pen. At least until, I'm pretty sure I could probably get this single one taken in on like a Tuesday to get fixed. But no, she's not the mom of these kittens. She's the mom of a different set, but they've all been adopted out. They're older. But it's nap time in the kitten room. We've got 1, 2, and then 3 around that. Yeah, they tend to do that a lot. They play hard. Mama Ixana, a pretty baby. She said, if I'm so pretty, let me out. Oh, Mama Ixie. So, funny fact, I didn't know that she was kind of a bee when I named her Ixana. I just liked the name Ixana. It was in a book that I read, and it was actually one of the villains in the book. So I guess I picked the right name for her since she likes to bite people. She just has this RBF too. It's kind of cute. Kind of cute, Ixie. Huh. I can't tell you the amount of cats that are microchipped to me because they had to be TNR'd after being brought in. Oh, she can't come out. These are not her kittens, and she would not be very nice to them. She just got here about 2 hours ago. So she, like I said, she was here about a month and a half ago. She had kittens in my garage. Well, it's probably been 2.5 months now. She had kittens when she first came here. The rescue that we pulled her from didn't tell us she was pregnant. We pulled her with a whole bunch of others because it's a kill shelter, and it wasn't kitten season yet, so we had the foster space. And when she came in, she went to a foster who has a room similar to this, and she will put up to 4 adult fosters in it at a time. Well, they gave her, yeah, this Ixie is the one who we live streamed having kittens on Kim's channel. And she was less of a butthole then, but mommy hormones can make cats temporarily nice. But she got done with her kittens, started attacking the foster, would attack her, would bite her, would grab onto her leg and chomp into her. But yeah, the rescue never told us she was pregnant. She came in, she went to her foster with a couple others. She was very unhappy, very, very large. And so they reached out and they were like, Christina, I'm pretty sure this cat is very pregnant. And she was. You could feel the kittens inside of her. She looked like a boat. She ended up having 5 kittens a week later. I thought she was going to have them sooner. But sometimes cats, especially if it's their first or second pregnancy, their uterus can just be very swollen and look twice as big as it is. And I think that's what happened with her, because she only had 5 normal-sized kittens. But yeah, no, and what's weird is they told us a different one was pregnant. And that one ended up having the kittens the day before she came to us. I just think that they didn't realize she was pregnant because they couldn't feel anything. But I think they couldn't feel anything because her uterus was literally just that swollen, which can happen with certain cats in their first or second litters. So it's fine. The kittens have all been adopted except for one. Of course, it's the brown tabby. Nobody wants the brown tabbies. So Lucifer is still up for adoption on our website. And now Mama Ixana can go back to being an outdoor kitty where she's more comfortable. It'll be fine. Oh, CP kittens, why are you sleeping on the floor? But yeah, brown tabbies are often overlooked because they're so common. So everyone used to not adopt black cats. Well, now we have so many people that have pitied the black cats that they're actually almost always adopted. At least in my city. Black cats are adopted like candy now. But the brown tabbies are the ones that we struggle the most getting rehomed because there's so many and it's just it's the most common cat pattern and color is a tabby. So a lot of people don't want them. A lot of people base their adoptions of cats off looks. They want fluffy, they want color point, they want torties and dilute torties, and they want the black ones because they pity them, or they want the ones with the cool patterns. Well, and with kittens specifically, since the only place they can go to be seen is Petco, nobody gets to meet them before they adopt them. So it's like they can, but most of the time we set things up to where you meet them and then you decide right then and there if you want to adopt them. So most of the time it's like a meet and adopt, and when we have 57 kittens on our website and only like 10 at Petco, then the rest are just shopping off looks. A lot of the times kittens' bios are pretty much the same. They're playful, they like to cuddle, they like to get into stuff. So, what, Bagheera? Guess who? He wants in. Hi, Gary. Okay, hold on. I'm working on it. Come on. Come on, handsome boy. I could not find this cat anywhere earlier, just so you know. It scared the living poop out of me. And I have a cat tree downstairs with a box like this, and he was in the box. Bagheera, psh, don't eat the kitten's food. You have food in the other room, you fat boy. He's like, I just wanted a taste. Bagheera. Fat boy. What happened? missed it. A cow. Do you know that if you leave cat food in the car, your car smells like stinky cat food the next day? So in my experience, tabbies have the best personalities. They are so funny. So where they lack in pretty looks, they make up for. Bagheera, this is why you have the poops, because you don't know how not to eat things you're not supposed to eat. Sir. Hold on, I must stop the hungry menace of Bagheera. What, Bagheera? What? He's like, well, now I don't want to be in here. You took away the only reason I wanted in. Yeah, I kidnapped Bagheera. He actually has gotten used to my dogs. Look at you. He went all the way around me and back to this bowl. No, you cannot have it. It's kitten food, honey. You have a whole bowl of food in the other room that's filled to the brim. Yeah. He's actually started using my automatic litter box too, which I much prefer when he uses it because he doesn't kick it everywhere like he does the open box. Yeah, he's doing really good here. He is no longer scared of my dogs. He's not scared of my girls, Rileyana and Mila. He doesn't care about them. So he sleeps in bed with us at night now. He has full roam of the house. He tries to trip my husband, so he does that thing where he walks back and forth when my husband's trying to go somewhere. And oh, he just saw Ixana. He's like, oh God, that's a scary cat. Yeah, she's not one you want to tango with, bud. But yeah, he pretty much just does whatever he wants in this house. But it's hilarious because you just see him like weaving through our legs, and William's just like, oh my God, he's gonna trip me. Ah! He follows me everywhere, and I'm like, he loves you. And he does. For some reason, he really likes my husband. They all like my husband. But then again, I'm the one that's been like forcing Bagheera to take probiotics and stuff and some dewormers. Since I dewormed my house, I dewormed him too. So he was mad at me for a couple days. Yeah, Bagheera. Yeah. Last night I was doing some computer stuff and he just laid on my chest the whole time and snuggled. Good boy. That's a good boy. Yeah. And boy, let me tell you, when he wants something, he knows how to scream about it. Jeez. Boy got a pair of lungs. My husband went to go poop this morning, and he shut the door to the bathroom, and he was very unhappy about it. Very unhappy. Did much screaming, woke me up. I was like, sir, there's nothing in the bathroom that you even need. Why are we screaming at it? He sleeps on my husband's pillow, on top of his head. Made him sweat last night. Quit rubbing the tripod. You're moving it, bud. Yeah, you're moving it. Oh, and he absolutely loves... Where is it? So I have these catnip toys that I made, and he loves those. Those are his favorite. No! I have the food in between my legs, and he slowly nuzzled his way up here to try and eat it. Like, the food's right here. Look at him. Again, that's what I want. Now give it to me. It's not for you, Gira. It's not for you. But, alrighty. Well, everyone's gone to sleep. I need to finish cleaning downstairs. I've slowly been decluttering. I'm not, so in my garage, now that I've moved all the kittens out of there, I have to take all the pins off the tables. I have to deep clean under them. I have to deep clean the tables. I've gotten some new backing for the crates up here, and I need to get another sheet of it so I could also do the crates downstairs in the garage. So there's this new like plastic wall that's 100% waterproof, and I'm gonna put them in all my crates because what I have now is like a particle wood paneling, and after a year's worth of getting it soaked in rescue, the bottom's kind of like, you know how particle wood, if it gets wet, it kind of like fluffs out, and that's what this is doing around the edges. So we're gonna put new backing in that's 100% waterproof for cleanliness reasons, and then I need to completely clean those pins from top to bottom, which also means the downside to not having medical grade pins or rescue type pins is that I have to wipe down every single one of these little tines because the kittens climb and crawl on them and get their little poopy feet on all of them. So I spray everything down with rescue. It sits for a minute. I wipe down with a rag each one. And then I spray everything with rescue again. I let it sit until it dries. And then the ones downstairs I will set outside and wash off with a hose. The ones up here are going to be harder to do that with, which is why I want to get the plastic backing on them. But yeah. What, handsome? What, little kitten? This little black kitten saw Bagheera and is like, ooh, I'm going to play with the adult. Come here. Apparently not me. I'm not who they wanted to play with. And then Oksana's just mad about everything. What, Yuri? But yeah, that's it. That's all. The next, I don't know. Probably this next month, everything's going to be super slow unless I get medical fosters because I'm taking a break. I'm cleaning. I'm resetting. And I do this once each summer, and then I do a long reset over the winter since it's not kitten season. And it's also just gives me a mental health break from all the loss and all the stuff that happens every year. And it's good to do. And so that's what I'm going to do this month since we're short-staffed on vets anyways. I'm taking a break from TNR. I am going to start working on setting up a presentation to do classes. To help teach new fosters how to tame feral kittens and stuff like that. And I'm going to focus on some other things. So I won't be doing nothing. And I'll still probably always have kittens. They'll just be medical cases, so you won't see as much of them. And Kira. Well, don't go over there, dum-dum, and then she won't hiss at you. Well, don't complain to me about it. You're the one that went over there. But yeah, that's all, guys. Sorry for rambling. Thanks for coming. Thanks for watching. Thanks for liking. Thanks for hanging out with us. I am going to clean Poopy Kitten's butt, put some medicine on it. I'm going to go give Bagheera a treat because that's pretty much what he's wanting right now. And then I'm going to start working on my my garage some more. Bagheera. Bye, guys. Don't let Oksana put